How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to this channel and to another 13-inch deluxe collector action figure review. This time it's the big green guy himself, Martian Manhunter. The front of the box, as you can see, has that classic Martian Manhunter logo with a Mars space scene and the big green marshmallow head himself. Top of the box has the same logo and more stars, and the side of the box has the logo again with 13-inch deluxe collector figure. Turning the box for everyone's favorite Martian around, we can see another image of the figure. This time he's in flight, and we can see an image of the extra alternate head that he comes with and a little write-up. Martian Manhunter is an exciting new addition to DC Direct's line of realistically proportioned superheroic 1/6 scale figures. Peeling the Velcro and opening this bad boy up like a good book, we can see the figure on the inside, the extra hands, and the extra head. And on the door itself, you got another image of the figure staring thoughtfully out into the stars with another Mars background and another write-up. Martian John Jones was transported to Earth after surviving the genocide of his people. The Martian Manhunter, John Jones, uses his vast array of powers to fight foes throughout the universe and is considered by some to be the heart and soul of the Justice League America. As a stranger in a strange land and a peace-loving philosopher forced to fight enemies bent on destroying that peace, John Jones struggles to find his way in a world that does not accept him. Cool beans. Now let's get him out. All right, this is the first time he's ever been out of his box. And before we go any further, here's what he looks like out of the box, but still strapped into his bubble with the backing right next to him. Okay, let's start getting stuff out of the package. Here's a look at the secondary head that comes in the package, the more Martian-like head. It's painted nice enough, the eyes are nice and crisp, and the sculpting detail looks pretty fantastic. I know that some people prefer this head sculpt and they would prefer old pointy head John Jones to have this as his basic look, but I still prefer the one that looks like a marshmallow. I like that head better. Here's a look at John's secondary open Martian hands. These are wired fingers, as I mentioned in previous reviews. So I've never seen this done before. It seems to work not quite as effectively as perhaps we might hope, but the fingers and the hands themselves look nice enough. The detail on these is actually pretty good. They look like actual hands. That's the arm of the stand right there. Here's the claw. Oh, we gotta get them out carefully. And here's the base of the stand. You can see the Martian Manhunter logo on it. We're gonna put it together a little bit later in the video. And of course, we have the figure. Here, okay, give me a second to just make everything look nice right here. And all out, here's the handsome green giant himself. This dude is big and doesn't have any nipples. Not even one. And mostly naked. At least it's safe to say at this point that Martians are probably very good at regulating their own body temperature, because he just runs around in underwear with a red harness attached to his chest that has a cape attached to that. Oh, and also folded go-go boots. Don't get me wrong, this is my favorite look for Martian Manhunter, but it's never made any sense. Honestly, not a lot in the way of suit detail to talk about, which is why I just kind of playfully poked fun at it. But what's there seems to be done pretty well. Oh! He's got a wedgie. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Actually, this kind of highlights the fact that this doesn't really work. Seriously. The articulation points, which we'll actually get into more thoroughly later on in the video, kind of suck up the back end of his trunks, and you really have to just, pretend he doesn't have a backside and just never look at him from the back. Just look at him like this all the time. Here's his booties. And remember, kiddies, when you buy these figures, it's entirely likely that these boots are gonna crack all over the place as soon as you start trying to stand him up and use those ankles. These are notorious for cracking. And they're very shiny. Like really, really shiny. Here's that, I would call it a belt buckle, but I'm not really sure that this is a belt. And there's the harness. And the cape that's attached to it. Now, some problems with this figure are that if you look at where the placement of these medallions are that his cape hooks onto, and the cape actually just hooks on with this little piece of stretchy gold string, just like that, over top of those medallions. And while we're here, let's just take a moment to peek at the cape. The inside is shiny, and the outside is not, so it's a two-toned textured cape. The collar actually does not come apart like that. That's all, it's just sewn right to it. Now, there is another fairly large problem with this figure, aside from the fact that as soon as you use his articulation, Martian Manhunter gets himself an atomic wedgie, and that's the fact that these medallions that hold the cape on his shoulders here are wildly out of place. I don't even know how they did it so bad. At first I thought, well, maybe it's just the straps. You know, you just gotta pull the straps down and move them where they're supposed to be, but you turn it around and nope, that is still a Class A placement disaster. So at this point, I'm gonna have to actually pull this strap right off, and well, both the straps, and replace these and use new material because, I mean, this just will not do. This just looks so doofy. Hi, I'm the Doofy Manhunter. And you can actually see here, if I can move my light down enough, some of the glue underneath that one there, where the placement, I think, actually changed. Which means that maybe this one was intended to be further back, but honestly, this one looks okay. It's this one that has to come down. But the second I try to take it off, it's gonna wreck this. So yeah, I'm gonna have to replace it completely. One good thing about having a mostly naked figure is that you can see pretty much all the articulation points, and these are the same articulation points that all of these big 13-inch figures have. So there's the ball joint head that actually gets a lot of movement. I'm satisfied with that big time. Shoulders got those hinges right there in the armpits and up about that. Bicep swivels right in the middle of the bicep. I've always thought that was kind of dumb. Double jointed elbows that act as single jointed elbows. Let's try even harder. Come on, you can scrunch. Really? Nope, that's all we get. Pivoty, spinny wrists. Moving the straps out of the way, you can see he's got himself an ab crunch. And a tornado waist. I won't go 360 though, because then you'll wreck these straps. Oh wait, I was wrong. They're not actually connected, so you can go 360 with this. Not that you'd really want him to have his butt on the front, but no, you can. My bad. He's also got, whoops, that's really loose. I just opened him up and he just, whoop, fell right down. Well, I guess you could see he's got the thigh cut and he's also got the hinges right here in the groin. And the legs go back about that and forwards. And he's got double jointed knees. Those are okay. Those are actually okay. Not to mention when we pulled down his shiny blue go-go boots, you can see there's also another piece of articulation right there. And of course, underneath the shiny boots, there's ankle articulation. There's a hinge, and I can't remember if it rotates or not inside of there. You can see that articulation point. It appears that it has another one underneath. And while we're at it, we might as well pop off this head and pop on the ugly one. Did you just Martian shame me? And of course, changing the hands is pretty easy. You pop off the other and you put on the new one. He can be all like, I heard what you said about Oreo cookies. And with both hands swapped out, oh, that one was tighter than the other one. He can look like he's flying, just like this. Hello, I'm the Martian Manhunter, and I'm flying, and I'm mostly naked. And I've also got a wedgie. And his head, as soon as I changed it, got really, really wibbly. Seriously, it just wiggles so easily back and forth. So I suppose I would give this a 4 out of 10. And I can't really give it any more, knowing that the boots are gonna crumble away. They're way too shiny. The trunks are misbehaving. The medallions that hold his cape on are just wonky. The head is jiggly. And the trunks, just give him a wedgie and don't look right with that groin articulation. I can't give him a higher mark than a 4. I'm sorry. I gotta be hard on this one. But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it as usual. Hopefully you found this review to be a reasonable waste of time, and you've learned something by watching this, and I've helped you make a decision on whether or not you want to invest the money in buying this guy on eBay or not. But yeah, that's all for me. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.